Okay, welcome YouTube. This is going to be we just did episode 5, and now we are going to do episode 6 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You're hearing these back to back on the podcast. Now, on the podcast, the audio version, I put timestamps, you guys, so you can skip to whichever episode you want or whichever interview. But here on the YouTube, I split it up so these should be 2 separate files. If you're like, I need to hear this guy talk about every episode of Salt Lake there ever has been. This is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 3, episode 6. So we are just going to hit record on the old podcast and let's go. You guys, okay, back. Episode 6 from season 3. This is called Finsta Fight. And Finsta, if I am going to do detective work, what does this title mean? It always gives us clues. Finsta is, of course, a fake Instagram account that people use. They hide behind these things called Finsta, and you can spy on people and you can do weird things on there, and they call it a Finsta. And the cable company description for this is, when Heather is caught telling a lie, Lisa sets the record straight. Whitney is surprised when Justin is unexpectedly laid off. Meredith and Angie H have a double date with their husbands. So if you were never seen Salt Lake before and you read that description, how would you watch that? When Heather is caught telling a lie, Lisa sets the record. I would not. I'd be like, okay, I don't care, and I'd be like, Meredith and Angie H have a double date with their husbands. Who are these ladies? The episode actually is kind of genius in how they started. They do one of those old time black and white newsreel footage where it's like with the film projector, and there's a countdown of 3, 2, 1, and black and white images of Salt Lake City, old timey images of people walking down the street, and they're like, this announcer's like, it's the Daily World News, Salt Lake City. As the snow begins to fall on Main Street, things are growing icy in Salt Lake City. A mystery Instagram account has been scandalously attacking controversial local citizen Jen Shaw. But who's behind it? And will Jen Shaw expose them? And then we get images of a fake newspaper coming on the screen with the headline, "Who is behind Shaw exposed?" We then see Jen showing her phone to Heather looking very angry, and then a wanted poster comes up. The announcer goes, "Meanwhile, it appears Wild Rose Whitney is exposed too much, and her husband Justin has been fired." We see Justin and Whitney's weird sexual painting scenes from last season, right? I think I even watched that going, this can't be good for this guy's job. He's like smacking her with chocolate and whipped cream. I was like, fun for, since they like each other's bodies, but not fun for potentially the people that he works with. The Radar Online headline reads, "Real Housewives of Salt Lake City husband loses job after participating in cringe-worthy bedroom scene." By the way, every bedroom scene I've participated in has been cringy as well. It's just most of them have never and will never be on camera. I think that's always the smart way to go. The announcer goes, "Finally, does this mean war? Queen of Sundance Lisa Barlow has publicly called out Heather Gay for lying about a text exchange they shared regarding the death of Heather's father." And we see a tweet from Lisa Barlow saying, "Lots of lies to cover the truth at Andy at Bravo TV," with screenshots of texts between her and Heather, and then a fake newspaper with the headline, "Did Heather lie about Lisa's text?" The announcer goes, "Watch it all unfold tonight on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City." And then we get the taglines. And I also want to point out too, the little if it's like a Whitney scene, they'll put like Whitney up and it'll say Whitney. I have to say I'm obsessed with Whitney's little dance. She does this little dance. She's like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? When they do Whitney's, like she does this little, I don't know. For some reason, I'm obsessed with it. We opened the episode on the beautiful shots of Salt Lake City, you guys. Upbeat choir music. And we see Heather walking down the sidewalk in an all blue outfit with black boots. And she's walking into the Alliance Theater and starts talking to Jay, the theater manager. And Heather's like, "Hi." And he's like, "Hi, are you Heather?" And Heather's like, "Yeah, are you Jay?" "Hi, yeah, I am." "Well, it's nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you too." "Oh, look, we match." And they're both wearing this. I don't care. And Heather goes, "Okay, this is the first time. So I am thrilled to check this theater out. This is beautiful." So this is kind of what we're looking at for choir stuff. And And Jay's like, yeah, so this space is all kind of open to you. And then this side as well. Heather in a confessional goes, I have so many stresses piling up on me, but at the same time, I need an outlet. I need a resource to like renew my soul. And so I've decided to form a choir. Of course. I did not see it going there. Like I have all these, I've got to write the book. I'm doing this, but damn it, this is the time for a choir. Damn it. This is the time. Whenever I get too stressed, I'm always like, the only thing that's going to save me is choral music. The only, there's been so many times where I've dabbled with the idea of just, an all men's choir. When I get really stressed, when life is just too much, I'm like, if I could just get a men's choir together, I think that could really just chicken soup for the soul. At this time, Dre, Heather's business partner, walks in. She was in the last episode at Ski Day as well. And they're like, whoa, hey, what's up? What's up? And they're like, this is Jay. He runs the Alliance Theater. And Heather's like, this is my business partner, Dre, and she's going to be doing the choir with me. Which is, by the way, your business partners with Heather, and then all of a sudden she comes to you and you're like, hey, I'm going to need you to do a choir with me. Like, I don't know if I'd be too down with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, choir, really? Like, isn't like the working with you like good enough? Like, do I have to, I also I like to watch TV. Like, what about like a TV watching group where we all get together and we watch TV? Like, that's fun. Or even like a book group, but a choir group? Utah is a wacky place. So Jay walks off and Dre's like, is Corey here yet? We see a man approaching the door. It's Corey, the choir director. And Corey's like, oh, like fucking, like he's a bear, dude. And Heather's like, speak of the devil, there he is. We're just talking about you. And Corey's like, hey, were you talking about me? And Corey, yeah, that's what they just said. They were talking about you. And Corey's like, I haven't seen you both in so long. Look how gorgeous this place is. Heather in a confessional goes, Corey was raised Southern Baptist and he was a choir director for 27 years. And so I know he misses it too. One night, Corey and I were playing the piano and singing together in my house. And I remembered how great it felt to sing with my friends. I swear, I shit you not, guys. I grew up in theater and I never had days where I sat around a piano with my friends. That's like very David Foster, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when he used to tickle the ivories, with Yolanda, and he would make everybody sit down and Babyface would always appear like, ladies and gentlemen, Babyface. And then he would get mad if people were like singing over him. Like, that's like my worst nightmare, is to be in a tight space with David Foster and a piano. Heather goes, this is something I want to create because it doesn't exist. Choirs do exist, Heather. There's not a place that I can go right now and sing spiritual songs or non-spiritual songs with a community that I love. And I'm like, Heather, have you heard of this fun thing called karaoke? Karaoke, you can do that. Like, what are you like? What I'm so confused. And this is where I kind of suspect that it's that idea where the producers say, what's a talent that you used to have that we could potentially exploit for the show? And she's like, well, I once sang in a choir. And they're like, bingo, you're going to start a choir and I've said this before. And she was like, I was thinking like, what would my specialty be? And I was like, maybe I would teach, like, I would do like Shakespeare monologues, or like, what would yours be? Like, would you like, does anybody know how to play yo-yo? Like, I started like a yo-yo club, like what, like rob a bank together. That would be a fun thing. But Heather goes, I just feel like my spiritual community side is lacking. And I used to have that every single week. Like, Heather, maybe don't write a book called Bad Mormon then. Heather goes, and the first thing I'm missing sitting with my family, singing and feeling, the presence of God in my life. I have to tell you, I love music so much. I am not into worship music a lot. Like, I went to church my whole life, raised Catholic, all that jazz. And there was never a bop, where I was like, fuck yeah, it's this one. Like, my sister is Christian and she's one of those people that also, like, I don't like she goes to see like Christian rock bands, and I'm not making fun of Christian rock bands. I just never got that into it. Like, I was just like, I guess everything is potentially Christian rock if you believe in God because he created the music. I don't know. It's just, they were never bops. Like, you're not going to hear is Carly Rae Jepsen going to put out a Christian album? Like, maybe then I would listen to it. I don't know why I use her as an example. Heather goes, I want to get this going as soon as possible. Is there anything we need to do to prepare for our auditions? We could just get together, come up with some basic sight reading sheets. And Corey's like, yeah, I can secure what the audition process will look like musically. So they're going to do an audition for this. And Heather's like, well, tell people we're having a week of auditions and then a week of us to cobble together our choir. And then our first rehearsal can be in the next few weeks. So we've got this momentum building. And Heather's like, babe, Easter is around the corner. And what is Easter without a hymn? And Corey's like, I'll have him and ham and him. It's, I think, a gay joke. New scene. We see Salt Lake City at night, a busy city street, and a car pulling up into a parking lot. And Jen's like, this is the fun zone down here. What is this place? She's with Coach Shaw. And he's like, well, they did a few things to spruce it up, baby. So we're at this kind of like fun park that they take kids to. It's like a trampoline park and like, I don't know, just a bunch of like Nerf bricks and stuff. It's like another, he's like, man, I know we need to be visually stimulating, I guess, but sometimes, and especially in regards to Jen Shaw scenes, you could just have it at home. Like, I'm more interested in hearing what you're saying instead of seeing you jump on a trampoline. Do you know, like, I'm like, it's like the skiing thing. It does nothing for me. Like, there's nothing like, oh, yay, trampolining. Oh, that is so fun. That's going to stick with me all week. Amazing. So nothing like that. And the park employee is like, hey, guys, welcome to Altitude West Jordan. How are y'all? And Coach is like, we're good. Okay, what brings us in tonight? He's like, we're here to jump on trampolines. He's like, just a date night. Want something to do different and have her do something different. We see all these kids like jumping up and down on trampolines. Jen looks scared. Jen goes, this is one of those times where you're not supposed to like say what is going through your mind, but what the fuck though? What is going on? Why the fuck? Where are we? The jungle gym? What's happening? And Coach Shaw goes, come on, we got to go over here. Let's go in here. We got to go in everyone. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Go ahead, get crazy. And we see a montage of Jen and Coach playing around in the park, and they seem to be having fun. And they settle into this foam pit area of like all these colors, and they just start to talk because what a great place to have a scene, which it would have been so much funnier if like little kids were diving into this area while they were talking. And Jen goes, I love you. And Coach Shaw goes, I love you too. And then they kiss. And then he pinches her nipple. No, he doesn't do that. But they do kiss. And Jen goes, thank you for continuing to help me find the good things every day and the positive things. And I was like, is she talking about the trampoline park? And Jen, Coach is like, every day. And Jen goes, and just helping me to keep moving and moving forward. But you know, honey, there's still bullshit every day. And I think I mentioned to you, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago, there was some account out there on Instagram called @ShawExposed. And Coach is like, yeah. And Jen goes, Lisa sent a bunch of stuff to me like last October. Jen in the confessional goes, @ShawExposed was an Instagram account that was commenting very negatively about Lisa online and me online. This is 2 months before I'm going to trial. I have bigger issues to worry about than some stupid Shaw Exposed account at the time, and I just wanted to like bury it and never discuss it. I don't remember Shaw Exposed. Do you guys remember it? I remember other Shaw accounts that were actively negative Shaw, but I don't remember Shaw Exposed. So I can't tell you if that was a big one or not. Like, I was kind of like, did they make that up? We see a screenshot of an Instagram comment by the Shaw Exposed account, and it says, seems what Lisa did to a friend of 25 years was much worse than slap Angie, influenced the cancellation of the caterer, tried to cancel the charity through participating through Jen, lied and continues to lie, puts her on blast through trolls like you. What is it like being in the 3% of the people who believe her shit? So, you know, not happy, this Shaw Exposed account. And Jen goes, so, you know, 7 months ago, whatever, then Lisa told me that Chris Harrington, Angie Harrington's husband, was the one that set up this fake account. And an image of Angie and her husband, Chris, come up on the screen, and Coach is like, why would he do that? We've never done anything to this family. Never said anything to his wife. And Jen goes, never. Never. We've never done anything to him. And Jen's like, I know. It's like to be accused of something that you didn't do, even though things look a certain way. And Jen winks at the camera. Like, by the way, Jen, we get it. You're innocent of these charges that you later plead guilty of. Like, give me, I know what it's like. Always like bringing it back to, I'm falsely accused. And Coach Shaw's like, yeah. And Jen goes, I didn't know that it would come to the point where I ever needed to discuss it with anybody. You know what I mean? But now at this point, I feel like I need to find out, because Angie Harrington is inserting herself into my life, my friends' lives, where now it does matter. And I'm like, does it? Does it? I'm sorry, I'm chewing ice, but I mean, people say bad shit about Jen Shaw every day. You don't need to insert. People say bad shit about Lisa Rinna every day. Like, you can just ignore it. Also, you don't have to like do anything about it. Jen in the confessional says, listen, I can deal with a lot personally, but you used Shaw exposed. You didn't say Jen exposed. You didn't say Jen Shaw exposed. So you just humiliated and disrespected my entire family, which I love that. The good old Shaw. Jen, come here. Listen. This is going to like blow your head off. Some people are saying that you have disrespected your family name of Shaw by stealing from the elderly. You did that with the last name. So I hope you're using that same rage. I hope you're in the mirror going, look at what you did to our family name. And Coach Shaw takes a deep breath and he's like, ugh. And Jen's like, I'm not here to like save anybody's feelings from it anymore if it's at my expense. Yeah, Jen, you've never been one to hold your feelings back. Now we return to Lisa Barlow's house and John is slicing a tomato, which is a great detail. And Lisa's like, hey. And she's like, I'm just working. Everything's been so crazy lately. I just feel like I got to get on top of everything for jazz tickets and to get Vita tequila in places. Jack, her son, walks in and John's like, hey, what's up, dude? What's up, guys? And Lisa's like, where have you been? He's like, downstairs. Oh, you've been quiet. I didn't even know you were home. And Jack's like, well, cool. And Lisa's like, I got an email from your guidance counselor. And Jack's like, good or bad? She was just checking in to see like what schools you're interested in going to, if that's even an option. When we were in that conversation with you so that you could basically help you out. So what are you thinking? And Jack's like, I don't know. I go back and forth. Come sit over here by me. Have you been thinking about it at all? And Jack's like, I gave it some consideration, but it's like not something I can dabble in. And Lisa in a confessional goes, I feel like Jack has literally false sense of reality on like right now, like how easy things actually are. And we get a flashback to Lisa and Jack playing basketball a few episodes ago. And I love this scene because Lisa is like, what are you thinking about with college? And Jack's like, fudge college, honestly. I already own a company. I love because it's not fuck college, it's fudge college, mom, but it means fuck, so it's even intenser. And when you hear somebody say fudge college, you're like, that to me, I've heard fuck so much in my life at this point, but when I hear a kid say fudge, I'm like, it's like bad. I'm like, whoa, fudge college? Are you kidding me? And Lisa realizes she's potentially created a monster. She's like, I think Jack thinks everything just happens like magic. Somebody needs a reality check. And Jack's like, I've seen people like all over the internet. There's like a few like really big entrepreneur guys on TikTok and they like don't go to college. They just like find someone to like them like and mentor and you just like intern for someone. And John's like, kind of sounds like you're basing your decision off of only people that are saying don't go to college. Maybe on the internet, listen to people that are enjoying college. Lisa in a confessional says, Jack started Fresh Wolf 3 years ago with the help from John and myself, and it's going great. He's doing amazing, but that doesn't mean that Jack gets to jump into Bill Gates mode and skip college and go back and get an honorary degree. He's not skipping stages in his life because John and I are willing to help him. And Lisa's like, yo, I didn't learn physical science or math in college. It was about figuring out how to live on my own. Like, I didn't grow up with a mom that cooked. I didn't ever learn how to cook. And Jack's like, she's like, that's why we eat at fast food all the time. And Jack goes, I didn't grow up with a mom that cooked. Ooh, awkward silence. And Lisa's like, honest question. Have I pushed you too hard into doing stuff where you're doing it because you feel like you have to and not that you want to? And John's like, are we forcing you to grow up too fast, son? And Lisa's like, yeah, did we force you to grow up too fast? And he's like, no, I want to get working for me because I want to be successful on my own without people saying like it's daddy's money. I want people to say it's Jack's money. So I'm going to keep pondering around about what I'm going to choose. I'm not fudging around, but I'll let you know once I do. And Lisa's like, listen, do I want him saying, yes, I'm going to college and like sign his acceptance letter? 100%. But am I happy with the baby steps? Yeah, because they're good steps in the right direction. I'll take what I can get right now. And by the way, there is like these like huge thirst busters in this scene. Like I truly love that they commit to the Diet Coke lifestyle, and it is a lifestyle. New scene, we arrive at Whitney's house. Whitney's on her computer. She's like, tip, 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 tip. And she's hanging out with her dog. And Whitney's like, hey, babe. And Justin's like, hey, babe, are you okay? And he's like, I like literally have been bombarded by text messages and emails, and people want to know what's going on. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do some type of mass communication. And when he's like people you worked with, and he's like, yeah, I think people were given an answer, but not the answer they wanted. So why not go to the source? Whitney in a confessional goes, it was a Monday. It was actually I was having a really hard day. I had just dropped the kids off at home and I stayed in the car. Justin pulled up next to me. He gets out of the car and comes to the window. And I say, I'm so overwhelmed. I have too much on my plate. I need to start a choir. I need to just take a break. And then he just looked at me in shock and he goes, well, I was just fired. And Justin goes, I'll tell you what I want to post and you can tell me your true feelings about this. Whitney in a confessional goes, all I can think about is, what does this mean? What's going to happen? I don't make as much as Justin does. We're just barely catching our breath from taking a huge risk last year with Wild Rose Beauty. What about our house, our lifestyle, kids, soccer, food, cars? Like, do I need to sell all my purses? Like, what does that mean? How much is kids soccer, by the way? That I was so wild that she used that as one of the examples. I was like, how much is the kids soccer? Like, that's what we're worried about. Like, is the kids soccer like a 6-figure thing? Justin goes, okay, so I was like thinking of doing a post, and like, this is what I'm going to say. It's like, in today's world, we are all very well connected, and you chose me, or I chose you to be on this platform together, which means I believe you are one of the good ones. And Justin's like starting to tear up. And I was like, no way. Because I was like, whoa, he's writing an Instagram post. And this is kind of how I write my Instagram post. I tear up. And when it's like, oh, it's real. And Justin's like, I will truly miss so much about these past 7 years. There have been some of the best years of my life, but I have no doubt I will always support, uplift, edify. And in the end, she's my family first. And then he goes, with 3 hearts. He goes, emojis. I don't know why that was so hard. I think it's the first time I've cried since. And when he hugs Justin, when he goes, since your dad died. And Justin's like, it's been a while. I'm going to get a paper towel. Do you think that gets the point across? Like, just so I can stop trying to handle these texts one after another. Yeah. Like, you lead an entire sales force. Like, you were everyone's everything. And then people are so shocked because they don't get why you're gone. Side note, Laura Beth Harp, who took the notes for these episodes and so amazing at it. I mean, truly, she did a little side research, if you will, which I think is amazing. And I wanted to read you what she found out here. Okay, so Justin's old job, it looks what he worked for a company called Life Vantage, and it's like an MLM pyramid scheme. And I'd heard rumors about this before, but it Laura says it seemed a little fishy. I'm going to a Reddit board right now. You know, it's always bad when you get directed to a Reddit board. But they post about drinks, supplements all the time. And it's one of those things you get invited to, phone calls, all that stuff. This one person says, I have some older relatives that wasted several years with them, blew through almost all their savings because they quit their day jobs and spent money going to these stupid conventions. So it sounded like a pyramid scheme. And I've had some friends be involved in pyramid schemes. Who knows, though, that's all allegedly. I don't know that, but Justin is not working for. It's like, hey, we're a pyramid scheme. We can't have sexy TV time involved with a pyramid scheme. We're top notch. Whitney's like, Justin pretty much is like the OG in his industry. He was the chief sales and marketing officer of a publicly traded company that sold personal care products. No one fires Justin. Like, he is the best of the best. And Justin's like, I know there were rumblings and I know there was talk, but the conversation itself was still a pretty big shock. How did they position it? He said how much he appreciated the work I'd done, but with Whitney being a public figure, I just didn't see how we were going to be able to make this continue to work. Really? Yeah, I mean, that was how the conversation started. So the fact that your wife has a career and it's successful, you can no longer work here. This has everything to do with them shaming me for what kind of woman I am. There was going to be a conflict of interest, Justin says. It's normal to want to be intimate with your husband. It feels like that was the final straw, was when we did the love as art. Sorry, we get a flashback to the naked painting scene from last year. They fired us because of our love. No, they didn't fire you because of your love. They fired you because you filmed yourself naked, rubbing chocolate and whipped cream on each other and spanking each other. I mean, come on. Like, I even knew, come on. Like, let's be real here. Like, listen, I could probably do it with my job as a podcaster. You guys would be disgusted, but I probably wouldn't lose my job because you're like, this guy's already so far out on a limb already. But this guy works for an MLM based around family marketing. Yeah, it's not his wife. It's that actual scene. When he goes, yeah, that could be cringy, but I'm like freaking proud of that. I feel like you made such beautiful art on my buttocks. Like that, it's taking me back to when I was 18 being told, well, if you're not a man, you can't have it. So this is what I was talking about in last week's episode, where Whitney is relating everything to her past. So it's kind of hard because I think it clouds everything in her future. So everything is this kind of assault on Whitney as a woman and not having the same rights. And she's learning about this all at the same time. And Whitney's like, and like, I feel like you are literally like asked to suppress your wife or leave. In a confessional, she says, it's starting to bring back all of these reasons of like why I wanted to leave the Mormon church in the first place, because women are less than. Women should submit to their husband. And so I'm really fighting the feeling of feeling ashamed and guilty because I have nothing to feel guilty for. Taking a step back, like what this means is like we've lost like your income. Shit just got real. We come back, we're at Beauty Lab and Laser. Basically, this whole scene is Heather just going, we're making a second location, but we're running behind. So we're going to be opening up for longer hours because beauty waits for no man. Like Botox waits for no man. Basically, their business is just doing good and their business model will crumble if they don't open another one. And Heather's like, it's so funny to me now, how it's pivoted, because I felt like when they first said there was a delay with another location, I felt a huge relief because we have so many other things going on. But she's like, now I just want to get it open. And Heather goes, why did I hope or want for anything other than just my sad existence? So many good things have happened, but now I'm scared that we're going to lose it all. And I'm so stressed about my book on top of that. And Dre's like, what's the latest? What's going on with that? And Heather goes, okay, so Steve, my book agent, he'll call me probably every day and he'll go, we're waiting. So I got an email last night and Steve said, literally, you've been escalated because you've been so unresponsive. And we get a flashback to Heather on a Zoom call with Steve the previous day. And Steve's like, honestly, we're in a really critical point here because you have missed every deadline. I'm having to apologize for you every day. They get to the point where they may just want to pull the plug. And Heather's like, fuck. And Heather's like, I want this so bad. I put all of my heart and soul into it. And now that it's like really around the corner, I feel paralyzed. So what did you put your heart and soul in if you're not writing the book? I put my heart and soul into taking that money. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily fully understand this. And Heather in a confessional says, writing this book has been so much harder than I ever anticipated. And remember, she has a ghostwriter on top of it. Everything will be written and it'll be ready to submit to my editor. And then I'll have the crisis of conscience and I'll be like, I have to take this out. I can't put that in. My parents will never forgive me. And then I backtrack and I try to soften it. And then when I read it softened, I feel like I'm being fake. And so then I get back to the drawing board and it's hard to be your own advocate and a traitor at the same time. This is why you shouldn't write a book, Heather. Like, if you're not going to be honest, what's the point? Because then you're just accepting cash, which is cool too, I guess. Heather goes, a couple of weeks ago, I was so hopeful that I could not identify as a Mormon and still have my family. But having my cousins show up to ski with me last week and my friends felt like they were embracing my new identity and my new life. I love how they keep, like, skiing brings people together. And Heather goes, last night, Lisa tweeted my dad's obituary as a way to like prove how great of a friend that she is, because she texted me when we brought my dad home from the hospital to die in hospice. And while we were gathered by his bedside, Lisa texted me, I hope your dad's feeling better. Heather in a confessional says, when we were in LA, I made the comment that Lisa had not been supportive when my dad passed. We get a flashback to the reunion where Heather goes, my dad had passed. And she texted me and said, I hope your dad's feeling better. And Lisa goes, no, I did not say that. And Andy goes, after he died? And Heather goes, yeah. Heather in a confessional goes, she went back, looked at her text and realized that her text was sent before my dad died. and that she was right and she wanted to be vindicated. But what she's missing is that my dad was in hospice and was surrounded by his family taking his last breaths on earth. And I got a text from her saying, hope your dad's feeling better. Heather says to have her weaponize that to hurt me and to prove that she's always right. It made me lose faith in any hope for a real friendship with her. And then I get a text from my cousin saying, I do not want my life exposed. I do not want to be a part of this kind of like weird ugliness. I feel like I ruined any chance I had of my family being supportive of me being public about our story in this book. And Dre's like, not only did it destroy the progress that you were making with your family through skiing, but it destroyed your guys' friendship. Well, it's not really. I mean, Lisa didn't really like Heather to begin with. And Heather just always wanted Lisa to like her because she was the cool girl in college. Heather goes, Lisa Barlow only cares about Lisa Barlow. But Heather, it kind of also seems lately like you might only care about you. Heather in a confessional says, Lisa and I have been taking baby steps towards forming a friendship, and I wanted her to be a part of the choir. Uh-oh, Lisa might not be able to be part of the choir. What will Lisa Barlow ever do? If she can't get in that choir, oh, everything's ruined. Flashback to 5 days earlier, Heather goes, do you want to be in my choir? And Lisa's like, yeah. And Heather's like, you have to audition. It's going to be skill-based. And Lisa goes, I think I can sing. Heather in a confessional goes, now I'm like dreading the fact that she might show up. I hope that her being right in this moment is worth it to her because I feel like she's lost me forever. But also, Lisa Barlow, listen, Heather did call her a liar. I mean, like her dad was not officially dead. Like, Lisa said, I hope your dad feels better. Like Lisa didn't know he was in hospice. Lisa said, we're with my dad right. Heather said, we're with my dad right now. Like also Lisa Barlow is that kind of Sutton Strack character where she says some weird shit, but she still was trying to be nice. I mean, isn't that count for something? We return to clips and see Whitney walking down the sidewalk and the receptionist. Anyways, this is a whole yoga scene where Whitney does yoga with Lisa Barlow, and the receptionist is like, Misty will show you down. And this Laura, I loved, visited the Mindful Living website, and Misty is the actual owner of the wellness center. So it's interesting that she didn't speak or have attention on her in this scene. So that was a little fun fact. Thank you, Laura. When he goes, all right, thank you. And Erica's the yoga instructor. And Lisa's like, hey, how's it going? And when he's like, hi, Lisa, good to see you. You as well. This is Erica. And so they start doing yoga. And I just love that Lisa's basically like, Whitney and I have a history of doing yoga together. But Lisa's like, honestly, I wish she'd say like, let's go shopping or fine dining. I mean, even driving through Taco Bell would be better. I mean, Lisa truly does look in shape, though. I hate people like that with a passion, that she truly does eat Taco Bell all day and just drink Diet Coke, and she looks like fucking ripped. God, if I could do it all again, I'd beg God for that, or even just to try it out for a month where you could have an awesome body. Erica goes, okay, beautiful, Whitney, roll out that hip. All right. And I don't know, they're just doing yoga. I don't care. And they end the yoga. And Whitney goes, is it okay if we chill here for a second? And Erica's like, absolutely. The space is yours, ladies. Take your time. And Lisa's like, thanks for inviting me. Yeah, thanks for coming. What's going on with you? Justin has decided to he left his company. Was that a choice he made because you wanted him to make it? No. It was a choice that he was faced with. Oh, I can't dive into the details of it. Got it. Lisa in a confessional goes, Justin being fired is all over social media. A Radar Online headline flashes on screen. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City husband loses job after participating in cringe-worthy bedroom scene. I love that the word cringe keeps getting brought up. Just honestly, imagine if any of your sexual relationships were newsworthy enough and the main headline was cringe. Lisa goes, I'm kind of staying mum in the situation because Whitney doesn't need someone else telling her what she should or should not have done. Whitney needs someone to encourage her to move forward. I'm not seeing it as the glass half empty. I think it's an opportunity for them to have sex professionally. Now, when he goes, but it's been a hard week. It's been a very hard week. I mean, he's had a corporate 9-to-5 job his entire life. And Lisa's like, yeah, I'm not living through it like you guys are, but I can honestly say, like, some of the hardest challenges I've had, like, a lot of blessings come from that. Whitney in a confessional says, it's been hard, but Justin and I made a commitment to each other that we're going to focus on the positive. And the positive here is that my husband was released from a company that is shit, she says. And Lisa says, I think you guys are going to be fine. It's a change. I'm sure it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, but I think it's going to be a good one. And Whitney goes, yeah. So what's new in your world? Oh my gosh. So I've had a crazy week. I started like a lot like negativity coming at me. And we see these tweets flash on screen at Lisa Barlow 7. Whether it's true or not, you seem like the type that cannot see past her own nose. Just saying, girl, that's how you're coming off. At Lisa Barlow 7, you're not coming across like the best, a bit cold actually. At Lisa Barlow 7, you're a bitch. And Lisa goes, because Heather lied about me in LA. People say, oh, you're a horrible person. And you're like, how disgusting are you? But retweeting Heather's father's obituary, I just want to understand why you feel like you had to prove a lie. Like, where is the lie? What's the lie? Yeah, that's what I'm confused on. She lied and she said after her dad died, I sent her a message that said, I hope your dad's feeling better. That's 100% a lie. Lisa in a confessional goes, I've let a lot of things go. And we get a flashback to ski day that brings families together last episode. And Heather's like, I just had a little conversation with Dana and Jen. They're like, why did you invite Angie H? I didn't even think about you or consider you. And I'm sorry for that. And Lisa's like, I want you to know, like, I would never do that to you. And Lisa in a confessional goes, this I couldn't let go because it was like kind of like the cherry on the icing of the topping of the cake for me. I'm not looking to go backwards with Heather. I'm just looking to set the record straight. And Lisa's like, I have every right to defend myself. You do, but it's also fair to say that to an extent of not going below the belt. Did I go about it the wrong way? 100%. I should have picked up the phone and called her, but the intention wasn't to hurt her back. The intention was to clear my name. You should probably still pick up the phone and call her. Well, I think I'm just going to show up at choir auditions. That's great. You know what? The old choir audition will totally suffice instead of a phone call. Whitney in a confessional says, Lisa showing up could really only go one or two ways. It could turn into a shitstorm and everything starts on fire and burns to the ground. Or we'd be holding hands singing Kumbaya. I would bet that we're about to have a dumpster fire. At the end of the day, I want to feel supportive. I'm just going to keep that mindset. And she might kick me out, but I'm still going. And when he's like, that's why I'm biting my lip. New scene, busy Salt Lake City streets. We see Meredith and Seth walking into a restaurant. And why are they always having these little flirty fucking like, hey, how you doing? We're in the restaurant. We're married. My hot white Meredith, like slap her on her ass. Hey, how you doing there, gay? And they're like, we do have a reservation. It's under Mark's. And the host is like, right this way. And Seth goes, here they are. All right. And we see Angie H and her husband, Chris, coming in. And Meredith's like, hello, you look gorgeous, guys. And Angie's like, thank you. You do too. How are you? And Chris goes, oh my goodness, look at you. And Angie's like, you look like a bride, because Meredith's wearing a white dress. Meredith's like, I'm good. How are you? And Chris pulls Angie's chair out and he's like, thank you, dear. And the waiter walks up and Chase the waiter. That's a great waiter name, Chase. How's it going? My name's Chase. Is there anything we can get you started with at the moment? And Meredith's like, I'll have a Belvedere on the rocks with a splash of soda. And Meredith in confessional says, I've always liked Angie. I don't know her that well, but I've always had fun with her. And Meredith in confessional says, really, but for Lisa, I would have probably already been friends with Angie. I just gave Lisa the space that she wanted in her friendships. So I'm not worrying about Lisa Barlow anymore. She clearly doesn't worry about me. So I'm not worrying about her. And Meredith says, do we all want to share a bunch of bites? And Chris is like, yeah. And he's like, sure. And Meredith's like, why don't we try the chicken and the dumplings since you love that? And Jason's like, okay, the beef tenderloin, it's prime grade. We could do that slice to order. And I don't know, they're just ordering food. And Andy's like, we ditched the baby, guys, but it's like weird to have a toddler and he's 52 years old. I'm 40, but we love it. It's the best thing that ever happened. But the minute we get a babysitter, we're like, Chris is like, out the door. We're out the door. And Meredith's like, well, yeah, you're out the door. Yeah. And Meredith goes, did you have a fun time skiing, Angie? I had such a great day. And Angie's like, I had a great time with you. It was so good to get to know you better. Yeah. Well, I think the only damper, Angie says, was Lisa. She wants nothing to do with me. Angie in a confessional says, Meredith and I think we're a little trauma bonded. I think we both been on the receiving end of Lisa Barlow's wrath. Sometimes when you go through emotional things or friendships break up, you kind of have common ground and it kind of draws you closer. They say the same thing about war, or actually something that's actually truly hard, not just a friend. Angie goes, I'm very willing to hear what she says about the lies I've said, but I've never said she's done sexual favors for a loan or jazz tickets. Side note, Laura Beth looked up the prices for courtside suite at a Jazz game, and it ranges from $5,000 to $12,000 depending on the date and the opponent. So listen, a 5,000 blowy or a 12,000 hand job. I mean, I didn't realize it was that pricey. I thought like tickets were like $100. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see Lisa doing that. I just don't see Lisa as a sexual creature in that way. I just couldn't even imagine, take your pants off. Let's get this going. Chop, chop. Pass me my Diet Coke. I want to wash my mouth out. And she's like, I'm frustrated. I get dragged into this. However, Whitney and I have in private discussed rumors. I think we interpret things a little bit differently. And maybe there was a comment of like, oh, that person's invested in Vita tequila, but there was never for sexual favors. Like, I wouldn't say that. So this is where it's weird too, because Angie's like now going like, well, we've discussed private rumors. So now this is a little hazy. And Chris goes, hey, the last time we seen John was at the Jazz game. I walk up to him. He's just like, he's sitting and he goes, get the fuck away from me. And I'm like, John, are you serious? And he goes, yeah, I don't know what happened. And Seth goes, that's out of character. It's shocking. This doesn't sound like him at all. I'm at a loss for words, Seth says. And Angie goes, do you think it could have been fueled by what happened on Instagram? Chris got really frustrated, you guys, because he felt like I was being attacked in the media. Was Angie being attacked in the media? And is the media only considered radar online for these people? I didn't was Angie like the New York Times or something? And Chris goes, a lot of it felt like it was coming from Lisa Barlow. And Angie said, and we were getting accounts that were saying things that only I had talked to her about. And Chris goes, in a very immature moment, as a 52-year-old man, please just, I created a fake account. I did. I created a fake account. And Meredith and Seth actually looked shocked and confused. And Chris goes, well, there's no manual on how to defend your wife on social media. I mean, Chris, you could use your real name. That would be one way to go about it. And Seth goes, well, that's understandable. Like trying to defend your wife, whatever way you can, fake account. Sure. Seth, come on, man. And Chris is like, yeah, and I've matured since then. That was when I was 51. I'm 52 now. I'm much different. And Meredith goes, okay, so yeah, I do think it's not great that you made this account and whatever else, but I have been sent certain things that tells me that Lisa has been doing the same thing. So at the end of the day, forget it, and move on. And Chris is nodding his head. He's like, thank you. Yeah, look, it's embarrassing. I own it. I'm living my truth. And Meredith goes, at least you're owning up to it. Yeah, I did it. And you're moving on. And that's that. And now we're in a new scene. We come to Jen's house and there are these alien party decorations all over. And Jen's trying to open a bottle of wine, which is a screw top. And we see Heather pull up in her Range Rover. And Heather goes, hello, I come in peace, because she sees the aliens. And Heather's like looking around at the decorations. She's like, okay. And Jen's like, so I threw a birthday party for a 5-year-old and the theme was aliens. First off, Jen, why are you throwing birthdays for a 5-year-old? Give me a little more information here. You don't have a 5-year-old. Or did you start a party business? Heather's like, really? You're one heck of a party thrower. I was like, get ready for prison. And Jen goes, look, I was just trying to figure out how to open this bottle. And there's like a screw top. And they're like, okay. Heather goes, oh, okay. Hey, Sonny. Jen notices Heather's outfit, which is like a tight body dress with a graffiti design. It's Chanel. I thought it didn't look that great, but I think she's proud of it. And they make a Mr. Belvedere joke, which is like a butler. Mr. Belvedere was a sitcom in the 80s about streets on the China, never met him before. Who cares? I think it was on ABC. And he was like this British butler that got like, it was so weird. It's like, why did they trust this strange butler with his kids? And anyways, they sit down. And Heather goes, "This is not even the appropriate body type of an alien." Okay, and they're looking at the blow up aliens, and Heather's like, "This is like alien body positivity." Okay, I'm like, "Slow down, Heather. You don't have to try to be funny all the time." And Jen goes, "Wait, where's my phone?" And Heather goes, "Your phone is on the table there." And Jen goes, "Okay." So Heather says, "Wait, hand me my alien friend. I'm going to see where his inflatable thing is." Because I always think about that when the manufacturers make these, where do they put the blow up part? Because it's for kids and on the back of the head. So, oh, that's got to be the least inappropriate part of the body. And Jen goes, "Oh, nice. So they're not blowing up down like they're giving a blowjob to the alien." And Heather's like, "Well, Lisa would know more than me." Damn, Heather, like make a Lisa blowjob joke like at a kid after a kid's party. And Jen goes, "So anyways, I know you have auditions tomorrow for your choir, so I probably need to tell you this. I kind of just like pushed to the side Chris Harrington, and I started an Instagram. I kind of like just pushed it to the side, but Chris Harrington started an Instagram page called @ShawExposed." And Heather looks stunned. And Heather goes, "Babe, that's a big fucking deal." I love this. Like, that's Instagram, you guys. Instagram ain't that big of a thing. Jen goes, "So Shaw Exposed has been out there trolling accounts, saying shit about me." And we see a screenshot of an Instagram comment by this account. And it said, "Influenced the cancellation of the caterer, tried to cancel the charity from participating through Jen." And I'm like, I didn't. So anyway, I never told you. And we see Heather with hands over her face. And Jen's like, "I never involved you. I didn't want to put this on your brain or your heart or your head or worry you about it. I dealt with this all myself," Jen says. I didn't believe, because at first it came to me from Lisa and I didn't believe her. I love that Jen's like just such a martyr. "I didn't want to bother you with this." Like, are you kidding me? You all fucking get hate on Instagram. And Jen goes, "So I brought it up to her and I said, Angie, I need to let you know Lisa had said this." And she goes, "Oh, that's not true." And I said, "Okay." And next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from somebody saying it's Chris Harrington. And he's like, "I did set up the account called @Shaw Exposed, and I'm really sorry." Heather has her eyes closed and is just shaking her head. And Jen goes, "I'm like, why did you name it @Shaw Exposed?" And I asked him that and I go, "Why me? What did I do?" And Heather's like, "What did he say?" And Jen goes, "Well, it was available, so I took the name." I mean, that really is kind of, if it's available, there's only so many names available. Jen really goes, "Really? You couldn't do Lisa Barlow Exposed? Like, what the fuck did I do? Why are you coming after me?" And Heather goes, "Yeah. But I mean, in essence, in retrospect, you did a lot of things." So Jen in the confessional goes, "When Chris apologized, it wasn't so much that I accepted the apology. I was literally in shock. This is not just some troll online that I don't know. Like, this is somebody I'm talking to, and I know they were on the other side doing something to try to harm me and my family. I have a really hard time with it." And Jen goes, "I need you to know, Heather, because you need to know this was super hurtful to me, because this was thinking of everything going on, right, with me and my family and my situation. And I feel like when it comes to Angie, you need to also be a little bit more aware of what's going on." And Heather goes, I absolutely do. Obviously. How are you going to handle it? Like, what are you going to do?" And Jen goes, "What are you going to do?" This is where I feel like Jen Shaw always like she kind of makes her friends fight her battles for her a lot of the times. And she sees, like, I feel like Jen has thrown her friends so under the bus with all of this bullshit with her court case. I mean, Meredith Marks posting things of like, "We're innocent in this country until proven guilty." And then Jen's like, "I'm guilty." And Meredith's like, "Oops." Heather in a confessional says, "I don't want to be in this position because it's indefensible. And at the same time, I've really developed a strong friendship with Chris and Angie, and I feel devastated. I don't want to be in the middle of a battle between these two." And Heather says, "If it's any consolation, she knows how much I love you. And that's probably made her afraid to tell me, because I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know what it's going to mean." So now we're cut to the first day of Heather's choir auditions. We hear a phone line trilling, and Heather goes, "Hey, how's everything looking?" And Mark, Heather's assistant, goes, "It looks really good. We got everything set up." And Heather's like, "Okay, awesome. Does the theater look good?" "Looks fantastic." "Okay, perfect. I'll see you in 5 minutes." We flash over to Lisa's house and we hear Lisa singing "Away in a Manger," but it doesn't sound that great. Lisa's like, "Away in a manger." And she's like, "I got to do it lower. Hold on." John's like, "All right, breathe low." Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that's not going to work. Hold on. Sounds like totally. That's like off. We flash over to Whitney's house and see Whitney and Angie practicing a song and dance routine to When the Saints Go Marching In. They're like, oh, when the Saints go marching in, when the Saints go marching in. And Angie's like, how about that? Yeah. Woohoo, we got it. We arrive at the theater. We see the signs on the table, the name tags. It's so exciting. We see Dre and Corey talking, and Dre goes, this looks so good. And Corey's like, I know. And there's a drum roll. And Heather's like, it's always been my dream to be a star. Heather walks out from behind the curtain on the stage, and Corey goes, you're in. And Heather goes, this is so cool, you guys. And Dre goes, how do you feel about sitting behind, the table? Corey goes, as executive director. And Heather goes, I love it. Heather hugs Mark, her assistant. Heather goes, this looks phenomenal. They're all just like blowing each other over. They're like, look at them. It's fucking just like some tables. Like they're like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like it. Heather's like, you guys, we've got an impressive panel of judges. And Dre goes, I know. And the judges walk in from behind the curtain. And Heather goes, well, hello, panel judges. Heather hugs and welcomes each of the judges. Heather in a confessional goes, Jeff McLean is the son of the most famous Mormon songwriter of all time, Michael McLean. James is my friend and a singer-songwriter with an impeccable ear for talent, and Paisley was a finalist for American Idol. I mean, this is a panel of experts curated specifically for my choir. And we see the other ladies arriving for the auditions. We see Angie K and Dana arrive first, and they are like, oh, we got to wait in line. And Angie K's like, oh, great. Meredith walks up next, and Angie K's like, what's up, girl? And Meredith's like, well, hello, what's going on here? And Dana's like, are you ready to sing? And Meredith's like, oh, I'm not singing, I'm a judge. And Meredith walks in, and we see Jen walking up carrying a big box. And Jen in the confessional goes, I'm expecting American Idol, okay, but there's only 5 people out there, and 4 of them are related to Heather. And Jen's like, okay. So it's not really like a bit. That's why it's so funny. Like nobody's showing up for this choir. And choir, I think don't you usually think of choir as like more than 10 people? Meredith says, somebody looks like they're in my color, because Jen's wearing a bright pink suit. And Jen goes, I know. And Meredith goes, how dare you? And Meredith walks into the theater and says, hello. And Heather and the other judges cheer as she walks in. Heather gets up to hug her, and Heather goes, new auditioners. And everyone laughs. And Jen walks in singing Amazing Grace. And Heather goes, all right, get your mic, girl. Back outside, Whitney and Angie H walk up, and they're in full costume. And Whitney's like, hello. And Angie's like, hi. And Whitney's like, is this our competition? Dana, Angie K, Whitney, and Angie H all greet one another and hug. And Angie H is like, are you singing? Angie K goes, we'll see. Angie H goes, what I lack in singing, I make up in rumors and dance. And Angie K goes, well, you look beautiful. Back inside, Heather goes, you're going to be in charge of hype control, crowd control. I need you're Ryan Seacrest to Jen Shaw. And Jen goes, hype control? I thought I was a judge. And Heather goes, is Ryan Seacrest a judge, or is he the star of American Idol? And then Heather and Jen point at each other. And Heather goes, and does Ryan Seacrest get anywhere without a very well-poised, discreet assistant? No, he does not. And that is why Miss Meredith marks. And Meredith is like, are you telling me to be the assistant? And Heather's like, no, you are. Now, I went from judge to assistant. And Meredith in a confessional goes, I mean, demoted already. Jeff, one of the judges, goes, don't disappoint us, Meredith. You've got this. Meredith into a microphone goes, I'm doing my best. Wait, is this working? Is this thing on? Meredith goes, the assistant needs assistance, please. Back outside, Jen to the megaphone. She loves a fucking megaphone. She's like, hey, everybody, who's ready to audition? The crowd cheers. There's literally 13 people outside now, including the cast. Jen spots Angie Harrington outside and looks shocked. Jen in a confessional goes, the last thing I expected today was to see Angie Harrington here, especially after my conversation with Heather. Jen and Meredith take the first person in to audition, and Jen goes, you guys will be right back. Jen in a confessional goes, somebody missed the memo, apparently. Heather is seen laughing at the judges' table. Angie H and Whitney practice their routine outside. And then we get next time on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we see Seth and Meredith in the bathtub together. Oh, God, we get it. You've seen each other's privates. And Meredith is like, sure, Brooksy is coming out to visit. And Seth's like, Can you not put your foot near my kink? And then we see Elisa arriving at choir auditions, and Lisa's like, I'm here for the auditions. And we see Lisa yelling, I'm telling you the truth. I don't fucking lie. And Heather says, the truth is you have no friends left. And then we see Jen yell, woohoo! And we see clips of the auditions. And then we flash outside of the theater. And Jen goes, you want to know the shit I have been taking for no reason? And Angie H is like, because of at Shaw Exposed. That's your husband. And Angie H goes, the thing you're being accused of is Sharif taking shit for it. And Jen goes, I'm innocent. And Angie laughs. And Jen goes, don't fucking laugh or smile. And Angie goes, do you know my husband to be a bad guy? And Heather Gay goes, no. And then Jen looks pissed. And then we flash to see Jen and Coach Shaw talking. And Coach Shaw goes, which straw breaks the camel's back? Which insult causes you to do something that you can't come back from? We go back to Jen talking at the auditions, and Jen's like, I'm just fucking with Angie because she thinks her fat fucking elf on the shelf husband is going to put you on a fucking yacht, bitch. And then we see Heather storming off, and Heather goes, I am done. Goodbye, and slams the door. And that's going to be on this Wednesday, you guys. I hope you enjoyed your Tuesday super-sized show of almost 3 hours. My God. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Subscribe to the YouTube. Tell your friends to subscribe to the YouTube. It's hard for me to say subscribe. And rate this podcast 5 stars. I'm slap happy. It's almost 1 a.m. Okay, you guys. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Bye. And you YouTubers, I will talk to you later as well. Bye, guys.